What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Toshi today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. It is the 25th day of June, and here we are at about 000458, up 17% on the week. We've got about 7 hours left in the day here, and we are moving down. We're down 3.3% as of now. We wicked up today, tried to move higher, and we've rejected a little bit, rejecting the 50 area. It wouldn't surprise me if we went lower, a little bit lower from here. I'm not talking about going lower than this low, though that is possible, and it's something to address. It's something to consider, right, from a low to a high. Low to high here, we did, come on now, get right at the low. We tipped that golden ratio. It's very possible that we could come down and tip it again, get a little double tap on the double bottom there. Maybe a slightly lower low. Anything like that's fine. Prior areas of resistance here, resistance there, support here and here, right? Going down and finding support there. It's not a big deal. I don't think that's what we're going to do. I would assume that we probably find support right here at the 0.530447. I think it will prevail this time for us, and we will continue to go higher. But let's look at the short-term stuff and see if we can divulge some more information. Okay, so 1 hour time frame, maybe even the 15-minute. Let's start off with that. 15 minutes building volume as we're going down. 15-minute building volume as we're going down probably means we're going to go lower, right? Lower lows in the RSI, getting deeper in the RSI. But the 15-minute being bearish is nothing to be afraid of, right? 1 hour time frame, just about to get into that oversold zone. You're breaking out of this very bullish structure, I might add. This is a bullish structure, what you had here. You just broke out of it the wrong direction, and that's okay. From a low or the right direction if you're selling this thing or shorting it or trying to buy lower, I guess. The fact that you're below the 236 makes me think that you will go to the 382 here, which is at 00042. That's probably where you're going to find support. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, it's also the most relative area to where you found resistance before. You also found some support back here before. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where you went. Could you go a little bit lower? Sure. It's very characteristic. It's a very normal thing for the price whenever it interacts with the 382 to go just below there. It's very, very common to do. So going just below the 382, seeing 304422 or lower is fine. You could wick below there, close back above, and then continue to rip and run. That's kind of my expectation. Getting oversold in the RSI, you don't want to make a habit of it, but getting oversold here while maintaining these higher readings overall, it's like you got a lower low, dramatically lower lows here while forming higher lows in the price. That's not a bad thing, you guys. It really is not. Nothing to worry about. Just something to buy into or at least hold into, right? But the volume is picking up a little bit over the past 3 hours, which is interesting to see. Nothing crazy, though. Nothing crazy. Tipping the overbought zone here, finding resistance. You're back at the 50, so you should be finding support anytime now. You could go lower, of course, but again, I don't think that you go below this low here. If you were to go below the 382, let's entertain that thought real quick. Okay, what would happen if you did? And I'm not talking about just barely below the 382, not just a wick and then a close above. I mean, what happens if you go below? Likely then you would find support somewhere around 3041 to 3004 itself, something in that zone. But I doubt at this point in time that you'd go below 3004. I definitely don't expect that. That'd probably give you some kind of reading around the 40 or even the oversold zone itself, something to bounce from in the RSI and recover. Yeah, so a little bit lower seems to be the theme here, and I could be wrong. I mean, if you turn out, let's put it this way. Actually, if you were to prove me wrong, all you have to do really is just see prices here. You get back above 3049, and you should be making a nice reversal, something that would probably take you, out of this range. You'd be breaking out of this range. You just found resistance, right? All these lower highs, you're just finding resistance at the same area that you've been finding. And I'm not drawing that line the best, but you can kind of see what I was going for, right? Something like that. And maybe you're just a little bit below that line, whatever. But you're probably going to consolidate into this line, and then as days go on, maybe not this week, but going into, I was really thinking that by the end of this week you'd rally with the rest of the markets, but maybe Bitcoin's just going to rally. I don't know. Not every crypto has to rally going into the end of the month, but if you do what I think you're going to do, what it looks like you're going to do, you might just consolidate for the next couple of days and going into the weekend, and then next week, the very last day of June, going into July, you should be breaking out of this structure. And with that breakout, you guys, you can see some phenomenal growth, and probably do see some phenomenal growth. If we're looking at this from a high to a low, from the high in May 12th to the low here on June 22nd, you're wrestling with this 236. Typically, getting this far above the 236 would imply that you don't go lower than this low without at least interacting with this 382, okay? But if you interact with that 382, you're essentially breaking out of this trend. You know what I mean? You're breaking out of it. So I would think that the next move up will very much validate that this is the low that you're breaking out of this trend here. And you should see a very sharp move that takes you all the way up, probably to the golden ratio at first. You dilly-dally, find some support here, come up here, and then you really pick up the pace once you're above the 886 here, seeing new relative highs. Going up to 0013 to 0018 at first, this area, probably in the very beginning of July. And then middle of July, something like that, we should be consolidating, pulling back, finding support at prior areas of resistance going into the end of the month. And going into August, we should be seeing those new all-time highs taking shape. If not earlier, maybe we are at new all-time highs well before the end of the month of July. But let's see. Coinbase here. We don't want Coinbase. We want MEXC because it has more historical data. The high is more reliable there. From a high to a low here, golden ratio down to the 236. It's a bit unorthodox. Normally you don't go down to the 236, but with this, again, I would think that you do find some turbulence around here at about 301 psychological level at that 301, or I guess it would be 201. I'm sorry, 201, right around this high. You probably find a little turbulence there. And instead of coming down to the 0.5, I'd bet you find support where you found resistance before, showing that you're doing things a little bit different and you're ready to run. And again, this should be all around, like end of the month of June, probably beginning of July, something in that kind of time frame. The way I have it drawn would be like the end of the month of June, but I am kind of anticipating that you'll just move sideways going into the end of this week. We'll see. Either way. And again, if you get above, understand that the lower targets that I'm talking about, or consolidating until the end of the month of June, that goes out the window if we see prices above 3049. If we get above 3049 on a daily closing aspect, we're likely going to make this move pretty damn soon. And Toshi can absolutely make, we could be up there in 3 days, you guys. We got 5 days left in the month. Well, we're 5 days, 6 hours, 5 days, 7 hours. We could definitely make our way up there. But I would assume sometime in the beginning of July, we're not just here, but pushing higher before the midway point. We should be at about 0013 to 0017, something like that. Going into the middle, we'll probably come back and consolidate around the golden ratio, areas that we found resistance at before, and then continue to rip and run into new all-time highs going into the end of the month and into August, seeing 2045 to 1 cent, something in that zone, which overall would give you a growth from the current price. That'd give you a percentage growth of about a 10x to a 22x, something like that, a little bit more than that even. Could Toshi grow more than this in that amount of time between the now and like the beginning of August? Sure, it could. But I think that we're probably going to stop somewhere around here. If we were to go higher, that'd be pretty nuts, I think. The next target areas are all the way up at 2 cent. That's a 43x, almost a 44x from here. And that's like the bottom. This is kind of a range in itself, so that's, I don't know. That's pretty unlikely, but it could happen. You never know. Crypto gets crazy sometimes, you guys. But my expectation would be that this is the area that we stop at. I don't think we'll stop at 0045 or 1 cent. I think we'll stop just above this 1414 here, probably getting like about a 15x, a 14x, and that should stop around 007, 0069, something like that, depending on how funny the market makers want to be. 007, 0069, they're very close together, and either of those would probably put a smile on the market makers' faces, so that's probably where they're going to stop the price there. I don't know if I have anything else that I want to say. We've gone over so much. 4-hour RSI looks good. You can go lower and still look good. Just if you don't do something productive on this next move, if we don't see higher highs after you find your low, if we don't see something productive here, that could be a cause for concern, right? But I don't think we have anything to be concerned about yet. Daily RSI, I am a little bit curious with this because it does seem as though you have a lower high trend here, and with that, you absolutely could come down a little bit, right? But I'm not concerned. I think that, I don't think you go below this low, but even if you did, you'd have the potential for bullish divergence. So even in like the worst case scenario, if that's not your low, and you go a little bit lower, I think you still have reasons to expect a bounce. The 3-day RSI, and as we start zooming out here, it gets more bullish. The 3-day RSI looks very, very bullish. We've got lower lows in the RSI while maintaining higher lows in the price, right? Lower lows here. If it'll show, yeah, lower lows here. You've got higher lows here. Weekly time frame. The RSI is wrestling with this 50. Overall neutral, but in a more bullish posturing than a bearish posturing. And again, just looking at this here, you're finding support right here in this kind of area of resistance, right there in that area of resistance, and a little bit of support there. I think structurally speaking, we're fine. We're pointed to the upside, and it's going to let loose pretty soon. We just got to wait, be patient, and have a little faith, buy the dip, that all that stuff, I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care, and this next month should be pretty damn exciting. I'm excited to see what July has in store for crypto, you guys. Bitcoin's at 107.2K right now. Sorry, I thought I was on the wrong tab there. 107.2K right now, looking like it wants to rip. I know I'm calling for slightly lower prices for Toshi here, but you never know, right? If that scares you, and it really shouldn't scare you because we're not talking about anything crazy. Like at the most, what, 2 zeros or 3 zeros, four? At the most, we're talking about like a 10% move. If that scares you, the reality is that's not promised. We could absolutely just turn around from here. Maybe none of this downside happens at all. We're more bullish than I'm giving it credit for. But looking at this day the way it is, looking at the RSI on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we went just a little bit lower. Low to high here, right below that 382. I don't think we go down to 304. That's just the lowest I'd give it. I really think that we're going to find support right around 3044. Okay, that's probably where we'll find support. Take care. Thank you all. I'll see you on the next one. All right. Bye bye.